Hey y'all, it's Ricky T. I'm coming to you from the Taylor Plantation here in gorgeous Beech Grove, Indiana on a sweet, rare low 70s day here in mid-late October. A little bit of a breeze coming my way at the moment. Gorgeous. The sun's in and out. I got my sunglasses on. It's too much of a glaze if I take them off. The sun's not beating down, but it's out there. So, coming to you today for another video. It is mid-late October, and as you may have noticed, so far I have not done one single video related to COVID. There's a reason for that. Typically, I like to have facts and data to back up what it is I'm saying. I like to use actual facts and data to mold my opinion. I mean, it sounds crazy, I know, but I like facts and data. That's pretty much how I live my life. So now that we're 6, 7, 8 months into this thing, and we're starting to get some studies done, we're starting to get some data, we're starting to get some information, you know, I can give you my take and have some data to back it up. Having said that, what I thought at the very beginning, all the stuff that's coming out is basically confirming what I've basically articulated and theorized and hypothesized from the get-go. The only difference is now we've got the data to back it up. Hope you like the bluegrass in the background. Love me some bluegrass, Alan Jackson. Before I get started real quick, today I've got, this is a Rocky Patel. It's a second. Rocky Patel has some high standards on their cigars, so any cosmetic issue doesn't get their seal of approval. You can see maybe right there's a little bump, and you can see where the tobacco, where it's kind of messed up a little bit. It's kind of clumpy, but its taste is good, smokes is good. See, smoke output great, construction great. It's a Rocky Patel. It just has a couple cosmetic imperfections. Just get them a lot cheaper that way. That's what I'm smoking today, just so you know. I'm actually going to do a cigar review here soon, maybe today or tomorrow, or in the next few days, either way, with a little Cigar 101 info. But let's get on to COVID. So basically what I want to do today, I'm going to put forth a few questions, something for y'all to ponder, give you a few thoughts and some actual data statistics, put it all together, you can come up with a conclusion. I like to say that I'm not trying to mold your opinion with this video, but when you hear what I have to say and you hear what the actual data says, you'd be an idiot if you came out with any other conclusion other than mine. That's just me though. Whatever. I still respect your opinion either way. Dude, that walk just flew right up like that. Sorry if I'm distracted. So, let me just ask a question. And I'm really getting tired of fake news. You know, I'd always thought that your national news networks, your cable news networks, that was your fake news. And you can at least count on your local affiliates to be straight up. But more and more, man, our local affiliates, they're just as much fake as everybody else. And I'm really disappointed by it. And so, here's the question. The first question. Why is it everybody always talks about number of cases? It's like they're dwelling on number of cases. And because the number of cases is higher, that's a bad thing, and things aren't getting better, and we need to shut down again. Ooh, oh, it's terrible. No, it's not. Number of cases, first of all, the reason why we're getting more number of cases now, because at the beginning we didn't have any testing. Now we got several different tests, pretty good tests. Some tests aren't so good. I've seen a lot of false positives. Then somebody goes and gets the test a day or two later, and they're negative. But we've got tests now. And to have a test 5, 6 months, we really had it 2 or 3 months after the fact, that's amazing, okay? I've worked in healthcare for 25 years almost now, and that just doesn't happen. So the fact that we've got tests is amazing and just really unheard of. But we weren't testing at the beginning as much because we didn't hardly have any testing to do. We didn't have any tests to do the testing. Now everybody's getting a test. If you go to the doctor, oh, I got a broken arm. I think I got a broken arm. COVID test. I mean, that's what it is. Every time you go to the doctor, COVID test. I'm perfectly well. I'm sitting, my wrist hurts. COVID test. Everybody's getting tested. So when you test everybody, you're going to have more cases. And more cases, in my opinion, is actually a good thing. Ricky T, why is more cases a good thing? From what they're saying, from what the experts, the doctors, the scientists are saying, with this particular strand, once you get it, you can't get it again. And once you've had it, you can't spread it. Once you've had it, it's gone, it's gone. So how about this? Let's all of us, except, and I'm going to get to this in a minute, except for the high-risk folks we're going to talk about, let's all the rest of us, let's just have a COVID party. Let's all get it. Let's suck it up for 3 or 4 days, and it's done. It's over, right? Because basically, most people are getting it. They're being sick for a couple of days, 2, 3, 4 days. It can be bad for a few days, but you're going to get over it, and you're done. You're good. Time to move on, right? Some of y'all that I know are watching this, you've had it, and I would love to hear your story. But so basically, this is a disease that hits mainly older people, 65 and older, and with a comorbidity. And if you're younger, you have a comorbidity, you're sick, then you fall into that category as well. So if you're relatively healthy, even if you are older, if you're relatively healthy, if you get this, you're most likely going to be okay, right? So let's throw out a few stats. Since I live in Indiana, those are the stats I've been looking at mostly. Some states have done better. Some states have done worse. The dog's probably going to bark in a minute because the neighbor's rolling in. Indiana's probably there in the middle, Indiana's probably there in the middle. So in Indiana, I'm going to let the dog bark because I don't want you to miss this. Actually, he's being a pretty good boy. Nice. In Indiana, and here's the thing, we don't want to really look at cases, we want to look at the death rate. If people are getting it and getting well in a few days, people get the flu, people get a cold all the time. And for most of us, that's what this is. But what about the death rate? In Indiana, the death rate is 0.149%. Let me repeat myself. In Indiana, the death rate is 0.149%. That means if you get this, you have a 99.85% chance of surviving. And if you don't get it, then you don't have nothing to worry about to begin with. Okay? Here's another crazy stat. In Indiana, this blows me away, and it's really sad. It goes to a bigger picture of something that's really sad. Just under 60% of all COVID deaths in Indiana have been in skilled nursing facilities. Our nursing home folks are not being taken care of properly. And being a person in healthcare who's done facility contracting, I've toured many skilled nursing facilities, and most of them, not all of them, but most of them, they just are doing a very good job. So you think about that. The percentage of residents in Indiana who are in a skilled nursing facility is way below 1% of the population, but yet they're making up almost 60% of all the deaths. 95% of all the deaths are 65 and over, and if you don't have a comorbidity, the stats on that is 94% of people who have gotten COVID and died had some other comorbidity, some other disease. So only 6% of all people who have died from COVID, I believe this is a national stat, not just Indiana, only 6% of people who died from COVID had COVID only. 94% had some other disease. And think about it, how many times have you heard of a person who's went into the hospital with some disease, they were there for a few days, they were getting better, the doctors are like, you can go home within the next 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. All of a sudden they get pneumonia and they end up dying. Or they're getting better, they're getting ready to go home. All of a sudden they get the flu and they end up dying. Happens all the time. Every year, forever. Okay? That's what's going on here with the COVID. If you've got some other disease and you get COVID, it's going to probably be enough to maybe take you over the top and kill you, which is sad. You know, any death is tragic. But the fact of the matter is, if you're relatively healthy and you get this, you don't really have nothing to worry about. But yet we close down the schools, we close down the economy, people are have lost their businesses, people have lost their jobs, all because of a disease that has basically a 99.9% survival rate. Right? So, masks. Let's talk about masks. And this might piss some people off, but guess what? If the truth pisses you off, that's your problem, not mine. All right, so the CDC, all right, the alleged source of truth, Center for Disease Control. You know, Dr. Fauci and everybody saying the CDC is the source of truth. They did a study related to masks. And this took place amongst 11 academic hospitals. Okay? So you got universities and hospitals. It's a university hospital. It's an academic, like, hospital. 11 of them. They did a study of people in these 11 academic hospitals who had tested positive with COVID. 11 academic hospitals, they tested positive for COVID. 85% of the positive COVID folks in these hospitals reported that they either always or almost always wore a mask. 85% of the COVID positive people in this study, I'm repeating it, 85% said they either always or almost always wore a mask. Less than 8%, it was like 7.8 or 7.9% of all people in this study who tested positive for COVID said they never or almost never wore a mask. The remaining little balance there, which is what, 7, 8, 9%, said sometimes. So, you can take that data and come to your own conclusion, but it sounds like to me, if 85% of the people with the COVID always or almost always wore a mask, I'm asking, what in the hell is the use of even wearing a damn mask to begin with? That's just me though. Alright? My own personal doctor agrees with me. I've talked to my own personal doctor about what to take on masks, and he told me the same thing. The virus is so small, it's going to get through or around. And the larger molecules that normally fall to the ground, the water molecules that normally fall to the ground, they're getting on the back of the mask and breaking down into the smaller molecules and coming right through. So, far left, there's some damn real science for you, okay? And I would encourage everybody, there's a group of doctors. These are all board certified doctors, most of which are renowned, have won awards, great doctors. They call themselves, I believe they call themselves America's Frontline Doctors. America's Frontline Doctors. They have a website with all kinds of data, studies, and other stuff. I would encourage you to check out their website. If you just Google or use, I don't even use Google, I use a couple of other search engines. Google hides stuff that they don't want you to know about. America's Frontline Doctors. Check out their website. So, bottom line, here's the deal. And if you eat a fairly healthy diet, if you exercise at least a little bit, I need to work on that. I need to exercise a little bit more. Turn this down. Get a little to that. If you exercise a little bit and you take the right supplements, I recommend vitamin C, a B complex, a D3, Thorne brand, Thorne, Thorne, makes an awesome vitamin D. And you know what I always prop, the medicinal mushrooms. The medicinal mushrooms are a gift from God. They're a miracle. Take your medicinal mushrooms and you're never going to get sick. All right? If you do all that, you have nothing to worry about. But instead, here we are. So take the information that I've given you for whatever it's worth to you. I would encourage you to look further into it. Do your own research, do your own studying, and make your own decisions. This is America, which I thought was built on freedom. All right? I'm trying to take advantage of my freedom and not necessarily listening and believing everything I hear, but doing my own checking. I ask you to do the same thing. So that's my take on COVID-19. until and unless something changes, that's what I'm saying, and I'm sticking to it. Until next time, as always, God bless America.